This is a place steeped in, players, the hurricane, the whirlwind, the rocket, but it's the animal that's here in Sheffield now. How are you?
I'm deadly, all's good now, can't complain. It's exciting times over here, my first real time at the Crucible, enjoying the snooker, and what can I say, I think I've fallen in love with the snooker.
You might give up the boxing at this stage.
Jeez, I don't know about that, I'll have to try my hand at oil snooker first, but nah, what can I say, I never thought there'd be an atmosphere and an excitement like this at a snooker event. It's unbelievable.
Tell me about then, you're obviously in the John Higgins camp at the moment, but what's your link with him, and how did you kind of get knowing John in the first place?
The worst thing I ever did was getting to know him, because now I don't even enjoy the snooker no more. I'm sitting there nervous watching every ball go in. I have a good friend back in Ireland called Donald Bonner who owns the Ross's Bar, and I think he was on the verge of going pro himself at one stage in the snooker, and got to know John and a lot of the lads on the tour, and he's been friends with John for probably longer than I'm alive, you know what I mean? Yeah. So Donald knows him well and introduced me in the past maybe 2 or 3 years. Probably around 5 years ago when I won my European gold medal, that was one of the first time I met John, and he was the one that remembered the first time we met. He goes, because we were chatting about it the last day, and was like, when was the first time we actually met each other? And I was like, geez, I'm not too sure, and he goes, it was back when you won the European gold medal. I was like, geez, fair play to him, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm taking too many shots, but now, as I say, John's a lovely fella, and I obviously met him about 5-6 years ago for the first time, but the last 2 or 3 years, I've been really getting to know him, and this is the worst thing that ever happened now, because I don't enjoy watching him play as much.
I've heard you say before that being a boxer, going out to the ring is kind of like being a gladiator going out into the Coliseum, that type of thing, but do you sense the same? Obviously it's an individual sport as well. Is it the same type of nerves? I'm sure when you're just about to head out to the ring, it's kind of a similar thing. An individual sport has a different psychology altogether to a team sport, obviously.
Yeah, without a doubt, and that was one of the things Donald asked me. He says, coming from your background, he says, what do you see it takes in snooker? Like, what do you think it takes? Obviously, I know nothing about snooker, but he says, just looking at it, what do you think it takes to become a good snooker player? And to me, it's just balls of steel, to be honest, and a lot of patience. One thing that I have noticed is you do get your chances, and that's the patience part of it. But then the other part of it is having the balls to take them chances, and that's what I'm seeing in there tonight. It's a serious game at the minute. The young guy, Kieran Wilson, showing some bottle, holding in with John Higgins, but John's experience is showing through, and hopefully he can keep this lead now and push on into the final.
Couple of similarities between your own story possibly and Kieran Wilson. You're both 26, you're both aiming for your first world title at some point, but obviously on your own world title, that's something obviously that's very much on your radar. Obviously you had the year out with the injury, but surely that's something that you're it's only a matter of time, same as Kieran Wilson. It's probably only a matter of time before he wins as well, but for yourself, how far along that path do you feel you are at the moment?
Like whenever I got here and everything like that there, I was trying to educate myself on the snooker, because I knew I was coming here, and I was watching Kieran Wilson, and I liked him from day one when I started watching it, obviously because of the similarities, and I suppose I can relate to a lot of things that he's doing and the stage he's at in his life and in his career. But for me, obviously, I wouldn't be in this sport if I didn't think I'd be world champion. I know I can be world champion, I know I will be world champion. It's a time now of just patience, same as the snooker, patience now, and taking my chance when it comes. And of course I had the year out, but that worked in my favour. I made a lot of great changes, and I'm in a great place right now, just back with a great win in my last fight there in Boston in America, and looking now to get back at it again and keep climbing that ladder all the way to the top.
And then life in Sheffield, I know it's the home of snooker, but it's also the home of you now. Big change from Los Angeles, but how have you found your time here so far? It's obviously the Ingle gym, Brendan Ingle, obviously the origins, the Irish origins of that gym, but are you settling in well? Obviously same time zone as Ireland, similar food, must be a total change from LA.
Yeah, well, as you can see, I'm sitting with a good cup of tea. I wouldn't get that in LA, you know.
Hard to beat.
But now, you know, the difference is unbelievable. A lot of people, lifestyle-wise and opportunity-wise, you know, a lot of people are going to say this man's crazy moving from LA to Sheffield, but, you know, people have different paths, and people's opportunities lie in different places, and my opportunity lies right here in Sheffield. And, you know, a lot of people were saying to me before I came to Sheffield that, you know, Sheffield, there's always like something not so good about Sheffield. And I was scratching my head thinking, where am I going to here? Yeah. But I cannot fault this place whatsoever. I love it. The people's great. The people's lovely. And right now, at the minute, the World Snooker Championship, sun shining. I'm loving life right now over here in Sheffield. I can't complain.
On a coaching level, then, obviously you're with Dominic Ingle there now at the moment. It just struck me earlier, I saw Terry Griffiths walking around the halls here, and obviously he, former world champion himself in '79, but now he kind of plies his trade coaching, and he's coached a lot of the greats. And I know you spent time as an amateur with Billy Walsh as well, so how important is that in an individual sport to have that coach who is almost like an idol, who kind of molds you into the fighter or the snooker player or whatever it might be? Is the coach in an individual sport perhaps more important than, it's, say, a football coach, Sir Alex Ferguson, Pep Guardiola, whatever it may be? How important is that influence in, for example, your career?
To me, a good coach, look, anybody can kind of teach somebody how to jab, how to throw a right hand. You could nearly do that yourself. Do you know what I mean? Well, get a few sparring sessions, see how that goes. But you know what I mean? Anybody that has an intelligence to boxing knows how to throw a jab, how to throw a right hand, different tactics against come forward fighters, strong fighters, box, move them. You know, things like that. Everybody knows that. For me, the key part of a coach is the relationship you have with them, the trust that you have with them, and the trust that you can put in them whenever you step in through those ropes. Because once you get in through those ropes, the only man there that can help you, and he can't really help you, is the coach. You know what I mean? So for me, I noticed about Dominic was that, especially there on my last fight, we went to Boston about 10 days before the fight to settle in, adjust to things, and you know, he was cooking for me, he was doing everything for me. I was sitting back thinking, geez, this is good, like, you know what I mean? But it was, the thing about it was that I seen that he cared, and most importantly, I seen that he wants to win. And that's exactly what you need in your corner. You need a man in there that is going to care for you, that's going to look after you, and that wants that victory, that doesn't want any other man getting the better of you. And that's what I seen in Dominic, and it was great. And the way that we have gelled together already is unbelievable. And I know every day in the gym is going to even get better.
Another man that wants that win is John Higgins. Number 5, he's going for it. 5th world title. He's in action at the moment. It's the second session of the semi-final against Karen Wilson. So by the time this is on air, we'll know if he's in the final or not. But listen, Jason Quigley, enjoy the rest of the Crucible, and best of luck with that world title fight, which I'm sure won't be too far away.
Definitely not. World title fight will not be far away, and John Higgins' place in the final isn't far away either.